The last lesson on this topic at the moment, so Boolean logic. Now, you're looking at a slide containing the 3 logic gates you need to know off by heart. So you should be able to create these logic gates anytime you're asked for. They will appear in the exam. So the first one here is not A. There is only one input, which is A. So we've got 2 to the power 1, or 2 rows. And we write it out like this. We put the inputs on the left. So I've got A here, and we put our Q here. Now it would also be fine to write not A there, but it's usual that we just write a single letter Q so that we can make the equation. Either way is fine, and I'll show you that shortly. So in not A, all it does not is invert or make opposite whatever A is. So if A is 0, Q is 1. If A is 1, Q is 0. You need to know that off by heart. The second gate is the AND gate. Let me just colour that sort of red, see if I can do that. There we go, AND gate. So I'll highlight and colour the gates that you need to know. The AND gate, we've got 2 inputs, always 2 inputs with an AND gate. So A and B, and we write A and B, and again our Q. And as I've said, it's okay to write A and B here. But as you can see, it's stretching the table a little bit, and it's much neater if we just use Q. So we start off by having inputs A and B. Start on the right hand side with B and then write down the pattern 0, 1, 0, 1. Move to the left with A and then put down 2 zeros and then 2 ones. If you remember that pattern, you'll be fine. And now we do the AND gate. So what AND means is it is only true, or Q is only 1 if both the inputs are true or 1. So here they're not both 1, so it's 0. Here they're not both 1, so it's 0. Here they're not both 1, so it's 0. Here they're both 1, so it's 1 or true. Now we come to the third gate that you need to know, the OR gate. And the OR gate really means that it's true if A or B are true. So here, where A and B are both false or 0, the answer is false. Here, B is true, but A is false, so the answer is true. Here, A is true, B is false, so A is true, so the whole thing is true. And here, both A and B are true, so the whole thing is true. So either A or B, or both, being true gives us a Q of true. Now I'm going to move on to something a little bit more complicated, rather like you did in the last lesson where you did it in the logic program and built the gates. But in the exam you won't have a computer or that to help you, so you're going to have to learn to do it by hand. You might want to come back to these videos later to understand what happened. So let's go on to the first one. And the first one is a bigger equation, which is saying not A and B. So the first thing I want you to notice is that we only have 2 inputs. That's really important. Find out how many inputs first and then build your table, A and B, just like you're doing the AND or the OR table, and lay it out the same way with 0, 1, 0, 1 and 0, 0, 1, 1 down here. Now, this isn't so easy. We can't just write in Q. What we really need to do is try and solve the equation as we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is try to solve the not A part. And to do that, I'm going to insert, hopefully, a column to the left of there. So I've got a blank column and I'm just going to do not A. Now, if you remember from the first slide, not is the opposite. So that's a 0 there, so I'm going to make that a 1, that a 1, that a 0, and that a 0. And I'm going to title that just not A. Okay, we might want to stretch the column a little bit so that we can see. That's up to you. But now, because I've gone this far, I'm going to ignore this column. And in fact, what I'm going to do is just sort of grey it out a lot so that you can barely see it. There we go. It's still there, but this is now clear. So now I can do the AND gate. Oops, why didn't that highlight red? Now I can do the AND gate. It still hasn't highlighted red, never mind. So remember, an AND gate is true if both of them are true. Well, both of them are not true there, so that's a 0. Both of them are true there, so that's a 1. Both of them are not true there, so that's a 0. And only one of them is true there, so again, that's a 0. And that is the result, and we've done that by hand. So let's go on, let's try something else. Let's do it this way round, whoops. Where now I've got A and not B. Now this is a little bit more complicated to lay out because of this not B coming second. So what we could do is just insert a column to the right here, and we could do the not B here. I'm just going to put NB for not B. So not B is, remember, we look at B and it's the opposite. So that's a 1. That's going to be a 0 because that's a 1. That's going to be a 1. And that's going to be a 0. So that is not B. And to not confuse you, I'm going to grey this column out again. Okay, so I've done my not B. So now I need to do A and not B. So this is now an AND gate. So Q is only going to be true if both of them are 1. Let's take a look at this row. They're both not 1, so that's a 0. They're both not 1, so that's a 0. They're both 1, so that's a 1. They're both not 1, so that's a 0. And we calculated Q being A and not B. Let's move on. This time I've got things in brackets, and really we should do those first. So this says do A and B and then not the result. So let's start off again by inserting a column to the right of B. And here we're going to do A, let me see if I can do the symbol. There we go, A and B. Widen that a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to do A and B. We know that from slide 1. A and B looks like this, 0, 0, 0, 1. As long as you've laid out the values here the same. So let's write that down. 0. Oh, that's nice. That's gone very bright. 0, 0 and 1. Let's get the brightness down here, sorry. So now what we're going to do, now that we've done A and B, I'm going to grey these out. So I can just focus on this one, and all I want to do is my NOT gate. So it's opposite to what this is. So that's going to be a 1, that's going to be a 1, that's going to be a 1, that's going to be a 0. So that's working them out by hand. In the next slide I have given you, and I'll give you these slides as they are, I've given you the OR gates, not A or B, A or not B, not A or B, and I want you to work them out yourselves. You can move these around or do it on paper if you want. Finally, I've set you a challenge rather like the questions you were being asked to do by drawing the gates in the logic program, where we've got 3 inputs, A, B and C. And because we've got 3 inputs, 2 to the power 3 is 8, so we need 8 rows. There are 8 rows. I can tell that instantly by looking at this column here. It's 4 zeros and 4 ones, total 8. So look at the pattern, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, then 2 noughts, 2 ones, 2 noughts, 2 ones, 4 noughts, 4 ones. Remember how to do that. Now what you're going to have to do is solve this slowly. Insert a column after B and solve that part. And then when you've solved that, you can then do the OR gate to get your answer for Q. Have a go yourself. Good luck.